All right, so let me start again. So today we're going to start marketing. Reminder that the quiz is open, number two. Remember, it's the best three of four. So if you miss the first one, you don't have a choice. You have to take the next three. Um, and it'll be open. The quiz will be open until Thursday evening, which is, I believe, the 26th. And it's 75 minutes long. So make sure you pick the time during the day that's best for you, that you can sit down for the whole time and start to finish. Don't stop and start again. And it won't allow you to do that. And don't wait till the last minute, or you'll get Blackboard will close you out. And it's open book, open notes. And it's just on the accounting, excuse me, and finance chapters. So I also, because some of you are still slowly giving me your project company choices. Remember, when you do that, to include in the subject window your class section. Remember, the class number is 104. The section is the number after that. So I have multiple sections. So by putting 104, it doesn't help me because I still have to now search through all the classes to find you. It just slows things down. And remember to give me your first, second, and third option. Before you do that, since students have already started signing up to companies, you should look to discussion board, because as soon as I get a student choosing a company, I replace the word student with the student's name, so you can see what's still available. So that way you don't choose a company that's already been chosen. All right. So, and then I will begin to give more direction with what you need to do, but the templates are already there. It's fairly straightforward. We went through it last week. At this point, you should be getting the easy stuff right now, like the things that you can do a search for online and filling out your covers. So it's different this semester, so just bear with me, because some of these things I'm also figuring out for the first time, since we've never done it this way before. But at least from my point of view, it seems fairly straightforward, but I'm not going to assume that it is to you. So I will work with you and try to answer as many of your questions as I can. Sorry, I don't know what I have. I think it's, I don't have a temperature. I don't have COVID. I've tested myself twice. I feel mostly fine. My throat's killing me. My chest is killing me. I think it's my allergies.
Have you taken anything?
I'm sorry.
Have you taken anything?
Yeah, I'm taking the medication they gave me when I went to the hospital. I think the rain, sorry. I think the rain, I think the rain triggered it, because the trees started to bloom. Oh man.
Yeah, you sound terrible, buddy. I'm sorry.
And I'm gonna lose my voice at some point, so I'm glad.
When is the project due? Because I started the project.
It's the end of the semester, so it's a term project. So we have all the semester to get it done. But at times I'm going to look for progress. In the past, I would have checked for group progress, but because now every single person will have progress, I have to figure out how to do this and not overwhelm myself, because instead of 4 or 5 reports that I can pretty much remember which group has done what, I now have to check on, I forget how many students are in the class, but 20 some students, and then multiply that by 3. So I will be checking on progress, but you can at least start. If you remember, I said we had to get through accounting and finance, because you've got to know how to actually start looking up the financial data on these companies. So you should at least start working on the easy stuff, like what the mission of the company is, who the people are who run the company, things like that. This is stuff that you could have done without going through any of the chapters. And then start to move on to the other. Now, the next thing that we're going to start is marketing, and that's going to be helpful because it answers questions like what industry are you in, what markets do you compete in, what your product or service or ideas that you're selling, things like that. So it's the next big thing that will help you in it. The last chapters in the course don't necessarily help you with the project because it gets into entrepreneurship and small business. And these are publicly traded companies, so they're not startups. So that's why I switched all the chapters around to get so that you get the most help from the book and from the course. So, but right now I'm just trying to get everybody in the same place, and students are still telling me what their companies are. So at some point I'm going to say, that's it. I'm starting to move forward. You're going to have to play catch up. So, so start working on the first parts of it, the easy parts. But again, it's due at the end of the semester. All right. So let me start off with our learning objectives, and then ask the basic question: what is marketing? So the next thing we do is marketing, and so the third quiz is just on marketing. So this is we're focusing just on that this time. Oh boy. All right. So I'm going to go over the objectives. I'll look at the objectives on the slides, and then I'll start by asking what you guys all think marketing is, because there's usually a general idea of what it means to you. Show you a couple of things that will, I think, be useful to help you get some context or background with marketing. Of course, you should always look at the folders under the chapters. The videos there are old. Those are the ones from the during the pandemic. So I've been relabeling all the old videos from the pandemic, and I'll do that eventually. And then, of course, the slides in the textbook you should be looking at. So to start with, it starts here. It says creating products and pricing strategies to meet customer needs. So it's starting with the question that I'm going to ask: what is the concept of marketing and relationship building? And it's interesting because across the textbooks, the term or phrase relationship or relationship building is popping up everywhere. And I'll explain what that means in a little while. But think about, in your own mind, what does that mean? How do managers create a marketing strategy? So that actually begs the question, what is a marketing strategy and what is a strategy? So we haven't really covered this yet. I teach a seniors course, and there's a grad course that is on corporate strategy or strategic planning. So strategy is a big deal in a company, but we'll get into that. What is the marketing mix? This is fairly famous. I went to Northwestern in the Midwest for grad school. I chose the school because it had the #1 marketing program in the world. And the person there, Phil Kotler, he doesn't teach anymore. He's pretty old, but he's the guy that came up with most of the theory or concepts that are used in marketing today. So, you know, he's a legend in the field. Everybody has a book. If they work in marketing, they have one of his books on their shelves, even at work. So the marketing mix is really his thing, and we'll talk about it. How do consumers and organizations make buying decisions? So marketing has its roots in psychology and sociology. So if you think about the idea of an advertisement persuading you or a salesperson persuading you, you could probably see that. But it's important to understand, how do consumers make purchase or buying decisions? And then what are the 5 basic forms of consumer and business market segmentation? We'll get into that. And if you run a business and you file taxes, you filed it under a industry code, and that's in line with industry segments. So you have some idea what segmentation means. What is a product? How is it classified? How do organizations create new products? What are the stages of the product life cycle? In other words, from start to finish. Since I was a product manager and a senior product manager, I owned the product life cycle of my products. Some companies will sell items that are referred to as brands, and they are brand managers. So, for instance, in technology, there are product managers at Procter and Gamble, or Dove, companies that make soap and cereal and things like that. They're called brand managers. So there's the brand life cycle and the product life cycle are very similar. And you typically think of brand life cycle or brand managers selling to consumers, and product managers typically selling business to business in many cases. Not always, but many cases. And then what strategies are used for pricing? Like how do they come up with pricing, and what are the what trends are occurring in products and pricing? Now, if you look at this, that's a lot, and we're definitely not going to get through all of this today. Marketing is a monster, and that's why even in this book, where accounting was one chapter and finance was one chapter, marketing is crossing 2 chapters. In some books, it crosses 3. So it's a lot to cover, and we won't get through it all on just today. All right. And this is one of those chapters where I would encourage you to, you can see how long it is. I would encourage you, that's not what I wanted. That's not, where is it? That's it. Yeah, I would encourage you to look at the summary of the learning outcomes. You should do this with every chapter, because you can see that within, I think it's 2 pages, 3. See, this is so long that it's, so in 2.5 pages, you can see what all the major concepts are in the chapter. So you remember on the first day, I said the way you should use these books is that go through the learning outcomes and go through the concepts, and then go through the chapter, the section headings, and then read the first sentence of each paragraph, and then read it, because you'll have an idea of what you're about to read. This is one of those chapters you should absolutely do it. If for no other reason, one, you're going to see a lot of things that you think you understand, and if you don't, you're going to confuse yourself, because you do understand a lot about marketing, because we're overwhelmed by marketing people with what they're bombarding us with as far as information. Second, there's a lot. It's just a lot to cover. So I would absolutely encourage you to read through these concepts to understand this stuff. All right, so let me hurry up and go to slides. Yeah, so if I look at just one of the slides, and this is the alternative slide, you'll see again the term relationship pops up in effective marketing, and you'll see that the objectives of these slides, again, what is marketing, understanding the meaning and customer relationship. How does marketing add value? This starts to peel back a little bit more, and this gets into, because all the disciplines of business, whether it's marketing, human resource, operations, they all come from social science, and social science comes from economics, and economics talks about things like utility. So, and utility translates into satisfaction. And so, if you remember from high school, utilities of satisfaction, or Maslow's hierarchy of needs, how do you achieve satisfaction with customers? We saw this with one of those Harvard videos. Well, it absolutely must pop up in marketing, right? Because you're connecting with the consumer, right? All right. So trace the development of the marketing concept, and I actually put my own slides together to kind of talk about where it was and where it is today, because marketing has evolved. It's also one of the newest disciplines. Marketing only dates back to the 1950s. Understand what markets are. So there's marketing, which is the action, right? The action of marketing. And then there's markets, right? So, you go to the supermarket, you go to the stock market, you go to markets. And if you go to a supermarket, you go to buy something. You go to stock market, you go to buy stocks. So markets are clearly a place where there's an exchange of goods, services, and ideas, right? And identify the 4 elements of the marketing mix, right? So you can see there's a lot of consistency here. And then what is the marketing environment? and explain it. So they're using a term marketing environment. In the book, they're using marketing strategy. It's the same thing, and we'll get into that. The components of the marketing plan, um, how market measurement and sales forecasting are used. It also begs the question, what is marketing on sales forecasting and why do you use it? Distinguish between marketing information and marketing research. I can tell you this may show up on a quiz, so I'd make sure I understand the difference between these two. And the steps in the consumer buying, which is, again, we just saw consumer buying behavior. All right, so let me open up the whiteboard. And I'm going to go through this water so fast. And my lips are dry too. I don't even know what that means. oh, oh boy. All right. So let's get started. I'd like to know what you think marketing is. I ask this question because I expect to hear certain things, and then sometimes I start hearing things that I didn't expect. And there's usually at least one person, if not several, who are confused about what marketing is. So let's at least start. Let's figure out where we're starting from, and then grow from there. So can somebody give me an idea? What is marketing? What do you think marketing is? Right?
The way
Is
in
it
which
just
you
like
advertise your product or whatever you're trying to sell.
Okay, so advertise marketing is to, let me start with this. To advertise your products. Okay. So let's put in the chat. Where did it go? There it is. Martin said, gaining the interest of buyers. Okay, used to gain interest of buyers. Anyone else? Any other ideas?
I mean, it's like it could be a product, it could be a service,
Okay, so
like buying or selling or
okay, so I'm trying to put. Can you just John, say it in a kind of like a sentence so that I'm trying to figure out what.
yeah,
I
it's
wrote
like
it in the chat,
it's like a
promoting
like
and
a
selling products and services.
Okay, so let me write that down. Promoting, and selling products and services. Okay,
Yeah,
go ahead and
works.
try it.
I'm sorry?
Go ahead and say what you're going to say.
No, it's something similar to what I was going to say.
Okay, fair enough. All right, anyone else? Anyone else?
Could it also be like interacting with businesses in a way to like promote or grow yours?
So, all right. So when you say interact, all right, you did say to grow, interact with. So you're talking about your business to another business, or your business to consumers, or both?
Both. You could say both.
Okay, so interacting. I'm going to use an acronym. So interact B to B, which means business to business, and B to C, right? Business to consumer. Could it be one more? Could it also be C to C, consumer to consumer?
Yeah, like word of mouth.
Well, okay, that's different. So to grow business. Um, so okay, so to grow business. Okay, so all right. Sorry, because in my mind I have two things and I'm trying to keep them organized. So interact business to consumer, and consumer to consumer to grow business. And just to lend context to it, can you think of something that we see now and really became a big thing during the pandemic where you see this, Harlan?
Um, Social media.
Yeah, and um, there's yeah, I never know how to ask questions without giving it away. And there are ways that you, even as a college student, could be involved in this to grow business. What do we call you if you were? So,
Mediator.
no, if I say it, you're going to be angry at yourself because you know the answer.
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah, I'm struggling with it because I'm trying to ask it in a clear enough way, but without giving it away. So Harlan is saying um, that in one of the ways he believes marketing is a way to interact business to business consumer, and consumer to consumer to grow their business. And my question is there a way that you can, is there a way that you as a college student could actually be a part of this? Like, what would you be called? Because he said you can do this in social media. Oh, Martin said it, influencer. Sorry. Yeah. Um, so you could do it as an influencer. Right. And so, you know, you essentially at the end of the day, you attract eyeballs. And so when you look at social media, right. And so the way social media works, it's all about the eyeballs. And the eyeballs can be monetized. And monetized just means I can make money off it. And so if you have a YouTube channel and you're teaching people how to cook, or there's a lot of astrologers or whatever, at the end of the day, the person who's doing that is trying to get hundreds and thousands and tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands and millions. And Google, which owns YouTube, will pay you because the more eyeballs that come on, the more money you will make. And then the more eyeballs that come on, then they will run advertisement. And so while you're watching it, an ad will pop up or it'll stream across the bottom. And companies pay to have other people look at it. So if you're doing something on cooking, it would not be surprising to suddenly see an advertisement from a company that sells stuff that you use to cook with, whether it's pots and pans or those home improvement shows that include the kitchen, or fast food or whatever. And then they can be very selective because what a teenager will buy may not be the same thing as a 20 or 30 something or a mom or a dad or a baby boomer or a senior citizen older than that would buy. And so they can be very selective, and it pays off because Google, which is the largest digital advertising company in the world, makes over $50 billion a year doing that. So it's a very, very lucrative business. So, and you see this now more with students because athletes have gotten involved. It used to be that the NC2A wouldn't allow it. They went to the Supreme Court. The students won. They're like, how can you tell me I can't advertise my likeness, my face? I'm not breaking any rules or laws with the brand, which happens to be the university that I go to, or that I play football for, or basketball, or whatever. I'm just advertising myself. It's not my fault that people suddenly know who I am and I become somewhat famous. So, like right now, if you watch, oh man, the guy who won the Heisman last year, who's a quarterback for USC, Cam, I can't think of his last name. Anyway, he's on, I think, a Chipotle commercial. So he's not just doing something on social media. He's on like broadcast media, television, and he's already making millions of dollars and he hasn't even graduated. Right. Caleb Williams, thank you. Right. So, and you can go back maybe 4 or 5 years ago, something like that, and that didn't exist, and now it does. There's some athletes who are in college because less than 2% of college athletes make it into the NFL, the NBA, MLB, or national hockey. And so their chance of making money are probably in some cases better while they're in college than when they get out. So there are some students who have become very popular in their community because they're a college town. And so the local businesses are using their face to advertise with. And the students are like, hey, knock it out. Let's make some money. Let's do this. That didn't exist when I was in college. And you guys are in college. You could actually take advantage of that and somehow if you were able to do it. So, yeah, so you can do that. The other way that I thought you could go with this is to grow businesses that you could, which is someone came up with, which would be e-commerce. I could literally do business to business, business to consumer, and consumer to consumer e-commerce. The business to business e-commerce, I think we're very familiar with. Like if you go on Amazon, business to consumer. If I go to Amazon, that's a B2C. B2B, you've got companies that sell other companies' products. So if I'm Intimins and I need to buy eggs to make my cake, the company making the eggs is a business, Intimins is a business, and it's much easier to transact business online. When you go to CVS or one of those stores, Cisco with an S, typically are selling a lot of the product because they buy so much of it that they can get lower pricing. And so then a large company or even a small or medium-sized company will buy from Cisco and they will sell it to that company. And that company, of course, then sells it to us. And then consumer to consumer, eBay is consumer to consumer. Even Amazon, if you're selling your products using Amazon, so and all of that can be done online. It's a fairly quick way to suddenly get business with the world. All right. Are there any other ideas or thoughts or ways that or that you could think of when you think of marketing? Can anyone think of anything else? Okay, so there's definitely some more things that, and I'm not surprised these haven't come up, but that also come under the heading of marketing.
Like emails, like mass emails.
Well, yes, you can. Okay, so I got two at the same time. So emails definitely are, when you do bulk or mass emailing and you're trying to get people attention and to market to them. So emails, and then commercials, which would come under advertising. And so if you break them out, you can certainly do commercials like on television, on cable, and online. You could also do posters. When you're in the subway, you see them all over the place. So yeah, there's other ways to advertise. And then the other thing that we're not talking about would be research, right? There's marketing research. Believe it or not, if you ordered something that was delivered to you, whether through UPS, excuse me, or Seamless, the vehicles that are owned by the companies that are sending it to you, that's actually part of marketing. As a matter of fact, if they had to store it, like if it was eggs or ice cream before they stored it, the facility that stores it is part of marketing. Packaging is part of marketing. So marketing is actually much broader than most people realize or think, right? It's anything that connects the product, the service, or the goods to the consumer. right, is part of marketing, right? Anything that connects the product, the service, and the goods to the customer, right? So, and I also keep saying products, service, and ideas. And you often will hear product marketing, brand marketing. What is the product? So sometimes the word product, which I'll put in parentheses, becomes a generic term that includes product, that includes service, that includes ideas. So a product, we kind of have an idea what a product is. So like when I bought this desktop for my computer, right? I went into Staples or I went online and ordered it. I guess I'm not getting enough light on this, but anyway, yeah, I got this product, right? So that's a product, right? It's tangible. I can touch it. But a service is a product also. So when you go to get your hair cut, that service, that comes under the generic term of product also. Get some food, get go on a holiday, a trip, go to a concert, a movie. These are all services. But so sometimes they'll say our product is that, right? Stay in a hotel room. And there's also ideas. These are the three ways that we identify these generic term of products. What do I mean by idea? What, if I market an idea to you, what am I marketing?
Maybe I'm not understanding the question because you said if I'm marketing an idea to you, what am I marketing? An idea.
That's the question.
Yeah, but the answer is an idea.
No, but give me an example of the idea.
It could be anything, any kind of products like shirts, clothing.
No, but that's the tangible, right? That's so I can touch my shirt. I can touch
So
this.
what was the question? Maybe I missed the question that you
So
asked.
there's three things: there's product, service, and ideas. So we know what a tangible
Yeah, I
product
just-
is. We know the service.
Oh,
I get my hair cut, but what is an example of an idea?
an invention.
Yes. So how do you manifest that? Like, this is a case where I don't know how to ask the question without giving the answer. How do you? What does it look when you? Let's say you needed money for your invention, but you had to explain it. So you're marketing your idea. What would it look like when your invention before it became a thing? Okay, so Martin says a pitch, right? And so you would pitch your idea, you would pitch your invention. It may
To
be,
investors?
well, no, I know who you're doing. I'm trying to describe
Oh.
the it part. So it could be in a PowerPoint. It could be in a patent. It could be, what if you wrote a song, right? You wrote a song, right? I can't touch it. You're not providing a service unless you turned it into a song and then do a concert, but the song itself, right? If you come up with a song, in order to keep somebody else from taking your song, you have to do what? How do you protect your song? In this case, your idea, your words.
Patent it. You patent it.
No. Patent is if I came up with how this works. I can come up with a functional patent or a provisional patent.
You
But
copyright it.
that's it.
If it's a
copyright it.
song, you copyright it. Oh,
Right.
okay.
So you copyright it. So if you write a book, you can copyright it. If you come up with a process that if you do these steps, this will happen, you can copyright it. And a song, you can copyright it. So same thing with an invention. You wrote it down, right? Anybody know what a poor man's copyright is?
When you do it yourself
Well,
instead of hiring someone to do it.
well, you probably want to, otherwise that person will take it. But what's a poor man's copyright? Not the words, the copyright. What is the poor man's way of protecting oneself?
Putting
So,
it,
like
I don't know, on
Notary
paper.
or something?
Say it again, John.
Like a notary?
You could, because the thing that the notary does is that they are trustworthy and they will put a date and time stamp on it. And I would include that anyway. So the poor man's copyright is You write it out, you print it out, and yeah, you should get it notarized. But you do that like maybe 5 or 10 times, and you put each one in a separate envelope, and then you mail it back to yourself, but you never open it. Now, why would you do that?
Oh, like kind of.
Oh, it's like a certified
patent.
copy.
So explain to me why that is, to a certain extent, that's effective. Why does that work?
Because it has the time, date, and it also has the postage stamp where it was mailed to and well received and mailed.
Right. It's not about
So
where. or
it
when.
gives
It's not
it,
about
it
where. Or
gives
when. Go ahead.
it gives a specific timing and a date when that specific invention was done.
Or copyright. So, right. So it's a copyright. In other words, it's your idea, your concept first happened. And why is that effective? Why is that effective?
Because the post office is a federal
There you go.
building, so it's not they're
Well, it's not
they trust each other, yeah.
right. It's not the building, but the federal government says that Christina came up with this idea. She may have come up with it 5 years ago, 1 minute ago. We don't care, but we know that on this day at this time, that we in this envelope that we sealed with this description and this copyright, and that's why you don't open it, because if you open it, you could have stuck it in any time, but it's been sealed. And they say, really? Christina says, goes to court and says, nah, it was my idea first. Can you prove it? Bam. And that's a poor man's copyright. All right. So we have some ideas of what marketing is. All right. So let's move on. Let's go to where is my, come on, Zoom. Oh, there it is. All right, let's go to excuse. Oh, now my head hurts.
Okay, buddy. Maybe get some more water.
I'm gonna take my lung out and I'm gonna go put it in the bathroom because my lung is hurting. Oh, my head hurts. That does not feel good. All right.
Why don't you get some tea or something? You're
Yeah,
about to die.
I know, and I appreciate that. I actually did the tea thing. I ate something so that I wouldn't get sick by sticking medication in my empty stomach. I don't know what else I don't know. I should probably go to the Y and sit in the sauna. All right. So I will overcome. I will figure this out. Let's see. All right, let's come back to here and go over to here. So if you go into the Blackboard cell, right, chapter 11 marketing, chapter 12 marketing, right? This is the old video. I'll redesignate this as from the pandemic. But there's some documents down here, and I'm about to refer to some of these. Actually, yeah, let me do that first. I'm going to refer to some of these things right here. So I'm looking at marketing dot, there's a PowerPoint version and a docs version of it. I'm going to it doesn't matter. They're exactly the same. So just so you know where I'm going with, where I'm getting all this from, I'm going there. And then, so this is a slide that I created. So I kind of I did this thing during the pandemic, the history of marketing. And so some of the things that you guys were saying, like coming up with the idea, getting my message out, oftentimes people's initial and almost immediate response to what is marketing, they say, marketing is advertising. And it's actually, when we start to look at the 4 P's of marketing, and now they've actually got 5 P's.
Yo, somebody farted.
I'm sorry?
No, go ahead, continue.
Oh, because of influencers, there's like it's stretched into a 5th one, and we'll see when we get to the marketing mix section of the book what the what those P's stand for, but those are all like popping up in here. But believe it or not, you can go all the way back to 1500 BC. They didn't call it that, but in Babylonian times, they actually wrote things on the side of walls and on the side of pottery, and they used it to tell people, you know, where to go, what's about to happen. Hey, we're going to kill Caesar this weekend, or whatever, you know, and what these things were. And they didn't realize that they were encouraging people. They were just trying to be informative, almost like when you look at the side of the package and it explains to you how to use something. But the result of it was to give people information about something, not just how to use something. So even though marketing, as we understand it as a function in management, didn't really come up until the 1950s, and I'll talk to that in a second, we can literally date back to 1500 before Christ. So marketing has always been a thing, right? So, and now if we look at the history of marketing, so some of this stuff, when you look at it, is going to be a little tough to read because it's a lot in a small space. But so mass marketing began with newspapers in the 1400s with John Gutenberg. And it wasn't that firms were marketing, it was that the papers were trying to make money by communicating message. So Gutenberg invented the printing press. So if you go across the river to New Jersey, there's this town that's only 1 block wide called Gutenberg, right? It's named after Johann Gutenberg. So basically, it was a way to get information out to a lot of folks. So obviously, there weren't computers, there weren't phones. So other than writing on the wall or walking around with flyers or standing on a box with a bullhorn, there was a newspaper. And so you can see here the pottery, the printing press, and you can move on and on and on. 1920s, 1900, we suddenly had radio. So, you know, they had shows, and then this show is presented to you by whatever, Clorox, Coca-Cola, or whatever was going, people wanted at that time. And then television came in the 1920s, right? Obviously black and white and then color. And then cell phones came in 73. Now, it wasn't in everyone's hand. The cell phone was invented by Motorola. The guy at Motorola was headquartered in Illinois, and he went to New York, and they made the first phone call between New York and Chicago, and everybody was this super stoked about it. Computers came in the late 70s. Microsoft and Apple came in 1980. Google came in 98. I remember the stock sold for $75. I should have bought some at that time. Facebook in 2004, and you may wonder what does this have to do with advertising or marketing? It has to do with advertising. Google is the largest digital ad company, and Facebook has realized that its revenue, the money it makes, is through advertising. And then Twitter, we call it X now, 2006, and then smartphones in 2007, and then I can't read that.
Instagram.
Oh, thank you. Instagram. In 2010, people didn't want to read words. So I'm surprised there's not something called Videogram, even though we have videos and everything. But of course, Facebook now, Meta, bought this company. And of course, after this, WhatsApp is missing, TikTok is missing, Twitch is missing, all these other things that are doing things in smaller amounts of information. So, and you know, in 1900s, things sped up. The television is 100 years old. You can see where advertising revenue has been increasing. Google has a market cap of 2 trillion. It's probably higher than that now because I wrote this in 2021. I know Facebook's user population is over 3 billion. So for a planet of 8 billion or 8.5 billion people, they would be the largest country in the world. And it's easy to look at that from a business standpoint because they can touch that many people in an instance. That's why there's governments worry about what Facebook does or who's using Facebook and what the effect could be, because it could literally cause chaos. through most of the world. And then bill advertisement, and then we're getting into the metaverse, and meta is data about data. So not what you said, but when you said it, who were you, how old were you, what gender were you, how often do you do it, who are you communicating with, who's listening to you, who's sharing it. You know, this is what metadata is. It's the data behind data. And then the eras of marketing. So this is kind of important. So relationship marketing is the new thing. Customer life cycle is important, but let's look at this. We can get this thing to get bigger. I hope it doesn't get fuzzy. Yeah, so in the 1920s, products were produced, and if you think about it, we were coming out of an agricultural-based economy. In other words, the money of the U.S. primarily was made through agriculture, whether it's farm animals, corn, cotton, all that stuff. And the Civil War, even though the premise was the freedom of slaves, really was an economics war. The South wanted free labor, which was slaves. The North wanted to use industrialization. We weren't a big enough country to have both. And if anything, it would have caused us to split. So they fought over it, and the North won, and we became an industrialized. So we moved from agri-based to an industry-based economy. And so the idea is, wow, you can get this new fancy thing, and people will buy it. And the problem was, now you move into the 1950s, that people weren't buying it. And so how do you get them to buy more? Well, you create the salesperson. You start pushing the product through advertisement, whether it's on radio and television or through the newspaper. It's like trying to push people, like convince them that they should buy certain things. And of course, the problem is that consumers either already, who are going to buy it, already bought it, or if they were going to buy it, they already have it, so they're not going to buy another one unless it's something that's perishable or they need it more than once, like say cleaning detergent. And you saw a lot of those on old black and white TV ads, like dishwashing liquid and cleaning detergent, because you would go through it and have to get more and more and more. So it's all about persuading, right? So this is the psychology of advertising and selling. And now, if you notice, we're moving from producing cool stuff that people want, so people are demanding it, to selling things, to pushing it. And so in marketing, we call it pull marketing and push marketing. Pull is when consumers demand it. Push is when the company's pushing it. And then we move over to marketing. And the idea, and if you notice, it's the 1950s. So what happens then is the idea is that, well, instead of just making stuff and pushing it on people, why don't we find out what they really want? So finally, we're now doing some form of research, whether it's through surveys, and nowadays, of course, we can do this through social media, we can do this online, we can capture data about data, etc. And we can also figure out who you are and who your friends are. We can figure out when you bought something, how often you bought it, where you bought it, and how often you come back and actually buy it in the same place as opposed to another place. And companies want that data so that they know where to sell their product, when to advertise it, etc., that kind of thing. And so that's really when marketing started. And it started with a guy named McCormick, and they were trying to sell farm products. And that's why if you go to Chicago, whereas in New York it's called the Jacob Javits Center, in Chicago it's called the McCormick Center. And that's also why my grad school, Kellogg, is in Evanston, Illinois, just north of Chicago, because that's where the birthplace of marketing is, and that's where Professor Phil Kotler is, right? So marketing started there. Yeah, the other really young functional discipline in business is finance. That's also young. All the others are fairly old. And then now you get to the 1990s, and the idea is, how do you build long-term relationships? And that's where this over here comes in. So if you look at a movie, they will recommend you. If you buy something on Amazon, they will recommend you. Salesforce came out with something called CRM, or Customer Relationship Management Software. And so they sell that software to businesses, and that software comes up with all kinds of cool information about a company's consumers and customers. Like, Mary Smith bought a red dress, and Mary Smith's birthday is next week. Well, maybe we should run advertisements to Mary Smith and all her friends about buying shoes or a hat or gloves or whatever. I don't know. John Jones bought something that's sports related, or John Jones likes playing baseball, and the World Series is about to happen. We should run advertisements on broadcast media and cable to John Jones in all the different places that he watches baseball, right? So, this is what CRM is. And then when you do that, they come back and say, if you ever notice this, did you like this movie? Did you not like this movie? Did you like this product? Did you like this service? Click yes or no, et cetera, et cetera. And that data is captured and then provided. And so companies are using their precious resources to target how to spend their resources to target their product, services, and ideas. And by the way, ideas can be, of course, copyright of songs, inventions. It could also be an advertisement idea. Consultants market ideas because they say, here's a way that you can change your business and make a lot more money. That's an idea. So ideas is a very lucrative area, by the way. So anyway, so this is CRM. This is the thing now. It's about long term. So Apple sells on average about 7 products per service, and they like to see you renew it every 2 to 3 years. Most people will renew their phones every 2 years, and they know it. And they want you to have the phone, the earbuds, the watch, Apple TV. Now they have games, they have a bank. And then they figure out how much money can we make per customer with 7 items every 2 years. And then they monetize. Wells Fargo had a thing called 8 is great. Wells Fargo is one of those few banks that are not headquartered in New York or North Carolina. They're headquartered on the West Coast. It started by a man named Wells, another guy named Fargo, and they were into moving stuff back and forth in stagecoach. And they carried gold. And so eventually they held on to a lot of it, and then they started creating a bank. And what they would do is they charge low fees, but they wanted the person to have a savings account, then a checking account, then a credit account, and then a loan for a car, college, and a home. And if they did a good enough job, then their kids would do the same, and their kids' kids, and their kids' 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 kids. And so that's how they created success for their bank, right? And so the next phase that we're going to see after a customer relationship and the use of information and experiential marketing is through artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence are going to do things that humans do. They're also going to start predicting stuff, like what will work and what won't work. All right, so that kind of gives you a sense of it. I'm going to show you a video when I get through this. All right, so key takeaways, activities a company does to promote and sell products, which you guys said, service to consumers, marketing makes use of the marketing mix, which we haven't covered. It's really the 5 P's of marketing. The old term was the 4 P's, product, price, place, and promotion. And now because of influencers, we have people. We know what the product is. We know what price is. Place is you're either buying it in a store, you're buying it online, or it's being delivered to you, like Uber is place. So when you buy it, you say, I'm going to buy it. And where are you going to get it? Uber Eats or whoever, Seamless or whatever. And then promotion would cover selling, advertising, special promotions like discounts, things like that. And then people are like influencers, marketing through people who have a lot of followers. And so at its core, marketing identifies an ideal customer. Now we do it through metadata, draws that customer's attention to the product or service available, right? So Steve Jobs used to say, I know what customers want better than customers know what they want. On the surface, that's a very arrogant statement. But if you really think about it, he's saying, or he did say, my job as a marketer and the marketing people in my company is to understand customers so well that they can tell the customers what they want. And this is before AI. So he was a visionary in the idea of doing this. If you think about it, if marketing can identify a customer so well that they know what the customer wants and needs before they know it, what department in the company can you get rid of?
I mean, you'd need sales, wouldn't you?
That's the department you could get rid of.
Really?
But you need to sell if the customer, if you already knew, because what you would then become is a logistics company. So
Yeah.
in some parts of the United States, the flyover areas, and you've got people who are on SNAP income, and they get into their minivan or their station wagon or whatever. Walmart opens their doors that stays open later hours in some places where they would close, or they put staff in place because these people show up with their SNAP paycheck or whatever, and they pick up all of these standard items, and they put all these items right there. And when people come in, they literally just pick this stuff up and put it in their vehicle, pay, and then drive off, right?
Mhm.
If you think about it, during football season, right? If you walk into a CVS or Dwayne Reed or a place like that, or your local big store or whatever in the neighborhood, even like in New York, and you walk through the front door, the beer's sitting there, the Pampers are sitting there. If it's summer stuff. They know what you want. Now, some of this is easy to figure out. Like the guys want their beer, so at halftime they rush in, grab it, and come back. And their wives are like, "Don't forget to pick up the formula and the Pampers." And in the summer, everybody's picking up the sunblock lotion
Gatorade.
and towels and all the, and then in the winter, like in my neighborhood, they suddenly have a supply of these things that kids slide on down the hill, sleds, I guess, right? So these are easy ones, right? But this, what they're getting at now is actually understanding into people at the individual level, and being able to set them up with the things that they want. That's where AI is coming in. That's where marketing is going. All right. Right, and then maintain the relationship. What do coffee shops, even mom and pop shops, do to maintain a relationship with you as a customer or consumer? And what do we call that to keep you as a customer? To
Loyal?
build a relationship to the point where you don't go somewhere else, you come to them. What do we call that?
Be brand loyalty, wouldn't it?
Loyalty.
Yeah, I was gonna say loyalty.
Yes, it's loyalty. It's loyalty. And so what, and if you go to a coffee shop, what do they do to keep your loyalty?
They might do programs.
name.
Or
They do what?
they might offer like a loyalty program where you
That's
get
it.
points and then you know get free coffee or whatever.
Right, that's it. They give you that card. Starbucks does it on the phone, which is genius because, well, there's a couple of reasons it's genius, but they give you they create a loyalty program. Believe it or not, there are couples who get divorced, and the big issue is like, fine, keep the house, keep the kids, keep the dog, but I'm keeping the loyalty program. I mean, they literally get into a drag out fight with the lawyers over the loyalty programs, right? Like the ones that started it were the airlines. That's they call it the frequent flyer program, and that trickled down to all the other businesses. So the more you fly, the more points you get. Suddenly you have free flights, free hotels. You can use it to buy stuff, whatever, things like that. Now the reason that it's a real genius thing to do it on a phone is that if think about it, any of you who get coffee at Starbucks that use a phone, right? I mean, by show of hands, who here buys coffee at Starbucks using your phone? Not your credit card, not cash, but your phone, like the app.
Oh no, I didn't even know.
Nobody in the class does that?
It's a good idea.
Nobody,
Or
nobody,
Uber Eats.
well,
Yeah, I do
no,
that.
let's stick with this first. Does anybody in the class buy coffee at Starbucks with their phone? Like they just go boop and they use the app? Not Apple Pay or Google Pay. So nobody in the class does this. That's interesting.
No.
Well, there's this thing called, anyway, they have it. And so here's the reason that it's a big deal. Let me ask you another way. Have any of you been to a casino?
Yes.
All right, two people. Okay, let's give Anthony a shot. Anthony, when you go to a casino, what do they make you use to gamble with?
The chips.
Chips. Why do they make you change your money into chips?
So that way,
Because they got your money.
yeah, so they could
Well,
get
no,
like,
you could just put your money on the table. If you go to a card game in your buddy's basement, you're going to drop cash, and even there, they probably will use chips. Why do casinos make you go through the trouble of converting your cash to chips, and when you cash out, chips to cash? Why do they make you go through that process? You could very easily just gamble with money. Why did they make you change it to chips? Let me ask you another question. What color are those chips? Are they all
depending,
like black and gray?
depending if it's like 10 grand, it's like yellow, I believe.
All right, yellow. Are they black and gray?
No.
Are they
Well,
white?
yeah.
All right.
Well,
So yellow. What other colors?
purple. Um, yeah, I haven't been to a casino in a while.
All right, but yellow, purple, red, green,
Yeah, so
right?
like
And they all stand for different denominations, right? What else can you buy that's purple and red and green and yellow?
um not sure. I I guess I'm not sure.
How about
So
jelly beans? How about M&Ms, right? How about crayons? And when you think of that stuff, you think of yourself as a what? How old?
like a kid.
As a kid. And these are things that you want, and you don't think about it in terms of risk or what it anything that's negative. It's just a positive experience, right?
Yeah.
That's why they make you do that. So when you buy the chips and then when you use the chips to gamble with, it's like, oh, this is fun, they're colorful. And meanwhile, sitting next to you, your buddies, or there's an attractive female, and if you're female, there's an attractive guy. And it's like, oh my God, we don't want to lose the fun part. We don't want to lose that 5-year-old experience. So let me just bet the chips. And if you're a guy and the guy's in it, is come on, man, come on, all in, right? And you don't know how much that it is. If you put down $1,000 bill on the table, you would take minutes before you say, well, I'm not ready. Don't bother me. When you look at money, you look at it very differently than you look at chips. That's done intentionally. That's absolutely 1,000% done intentionally, right? When you go into a place to buy something with your phone, and by the way, well, let me come back to this. And you go into Starbucks and you buy something with Starbucks with your phone, you have to charge the phone up with a certain amount of, the app with money. So people go in, and the average is $20 because when you go 25, 30, whatever, you have to sign. But when it's under a certain amount, you don't. That's why the New York subways typically are under a certain amount when you spend, because they want you to hurry up and spend it and move on through. They don't want you to stop, have to sign something or whatever, because there are limits on how much they see as liability. Well, when you do that, and the coffees are like $5 or $6, and you go up and it's like, oh, you only have $3 left on the app. $20, if you buy a $5 and change cup of coffee with tax, you're going to run out before you get after 3 drinks before you get to 20. That's intentional because they know you charged up with 20. And when you look and you say, I have $3, I'll just charge up another 20 and I can buy it. If it was 555, you would probably think about it and manage it. That is intentional. The pricing on it is intentional. And you don't think about the phone the way you think about money. You don't think about the phone the way you think about money. You just go, boop, boop, and then you walk on, right? You don't, many cases, you don't even look at the register. That's intentional. That's intentional. Now, the cool thing with this is it also, well, Apple does, but because you're using Apple Pay, but Starbucks knows what time you came in, how often you buy, and they're like, you never come on Wednesdays. I promise you, you will get a coupon on your phone that says, come in today and get 2 drinks for 1. It costs them 25 cents to make that drink, and they're charging you $5 and change. What do they care if they offer you 2 for 1? Now, what they won't do is say, we're going to discount it 50% off. In your mind, you're thinking 50% off is the same as 2 for 1. It's not, because psychologically, what they just told you is, we can still make money on $2.50. We can make money on $2.50. They don't want you to think that, because then when you say it's $5, you're like, wait a minute, you made a profit on $2.50, and now you think just because it's not Wednesday, you can charge me $5? I'm going somewhere else. And you may say, well, that's the same as 2 for 1. No, you over rationalize it. Remember, marketing uses psychology. 2 for 1 means you're getting a deal. Half price means you don't need more than $2.50 to pay for this stuff to run this shop. They literally mean different things. They literally mean different things, right? All right. Right. Marketing is a very fascinating thing, because if you're into psychology, if you're into how people think, if you're into consumer behavior, it's a thing. All right. Yeah, so next time you go to a casino, you have that. And these are different ideas for products. These are for, if you go to pricing. By the way, if you go to a restaurant, the price is normally not $4 or $5. What is the pricing? If you go to McDonald's or Shake Shack or any place like that, what is the price? How does it end? It's some dollar and then what? Like if it's $4 and what?
Cents?
Like what? Give me a number.
99 cents.
Right, 99 cents. Now, why, if it's $4.99, isn't $4.99 close to $5? Why didn't they just say 5? Why didn't they just say 5?
Taxes.
What?
Taxes.
I don't know what the word is that you're using.
Taxes.
Oh, taxes. No,
I have
this is before taxes. You look up at the board and you see $4.99 or 2 something or whatever. Why don't they just immediately round up to the next to the dollar?
Maybe just look cheaper.
Who thinks it's cheaper?
The consumer.
To give
Yeah.
the idea that it's like cheaper.
Right. They're looking at the first number, not in other words, if you see 4, even though it's $4.99, 5 seems like a whole lot more. You don't see the penny, you see the 5. And there are some things that you'll never see $4.99. You won't go in and buy a sofa for $4.99. You'll see $4.95 or $495 or $4,095. They're actually, even numbers mean different things than odd numbers. Even numbers mean different things to odd numbers, and it's psychological. So the next time you go into McDonald's or Dunkin' Donuts or Starbucks or any of these places, look at the prices, and it won't be $2.83. $2.83 is a weird number. You'll see that in a grocery store. You're not going to see that in a fast food restaurant. If you go on the subway and you buy some cookies, it's $1, $1.25, $1.50, $1.75, but it's not $1.83. Why? Why?
Huh? Wait, say that again, I'm sorry.
You're walking through the subway and you pick up a drink or some cookies or a piece of candy or whatever. It's not 83 cents. It's not $1.83. It's $1, $1.25, $1.50, $1.75. But it's not $1.83. It's not $1.27. Why? Why is it?
Because there you pay cash mostly.
Well, even if you pay cash or don't pay cash, you use the phone, right? But typically you may dig in your pocket because it's not like it's $20, right? But why is it not $1.27 and why is it $1.25?
No one really
Because
works
you're
with
gonna buy.
pennies.
Say it again.
No one really works with pennies.
No one walks with pennies. Why else? When you're in the subway, describe your behavior.
You're moving fast.
Moving fast. Keep going. Now go
And
back to the question.
yeah, you want to buy something quick for cheap, or if you want to buy more than one, it could be
So
grouped
why is the
together
price
here.
125 and not $1.27?
So they can get like
Easily accessible.
because you don't really get the change mostly, so they can get more.
And also because it's a lot. If you
easy
think
to
about the
calculate.
math, if you think about the math with quarters, usually
Exactly.
everything is $1. All the cookies are $1, all the small bottles of water are $1. And if they're more, it's $1.25. It's never in between because the time it takes to have to count out all that change and to figure out, 83, 84, 85 plus a dime and a nickel, we up to 50. Now here's two more. Right. Here's 3/4. Boom. Right. Matter of fact, sometimes they get angry and throw money at you. It's like, what's wrong with you? I don't have this change. I don't have pennies. Here, just take it, leave. It's called convenience pricing. It's convenience pricing. And you pay more, like if you go to a 7-Eleven, and you pay more if you're inside the subway. And it's not just because of their cost, but it's also because nobody wants to sit there and wait for that merchant to count out pennies, nickels, and dimes. Quarters are real easy. It's $1.25. Here's 3/4. If you hand them $2. Simple. It's simple. Now tapping, again, you're not looking at the numbers. They may be charging you $1.50. You're like, look, dude, can you just hurry up? It's just a quarter. But when you do that every day, right? So pricing is there's a psychology behind pricing. There's another thing. Have you ever gone to buy something and you are prepared to spend a couple of $100 and you get there and it's $70? It's like,
You're like, sweet.
Part of our psychology is that there's something wrong with this. This thing's supposed to be $200. This is broken. This is used. This isn't the model I want. Pricing sometimes will actually tell you that it's a better product. That's a psychology. Even though you want to get the best price for the value, right? You're willing to pay. Like, why is it that we pay more for Apple computer equipment than we pay for a Dell or for an ASIC? Because if we went in and the Apple laptop was, say, $300, you're like, is this a new product? Is this used? Is this year's model? It triggers a reaction in you psychologically that says, this is not quality. There's something wrong with this, right? I don't want it. No. Give me that one over there because I know
Sometimes you're paying for the name.
which is the brand.
Yeah.
But you also you're convinced. Like, that's why Apple doesn't discount its products. That's why, because they don't want you to think about it in terms of a discount. You either can afford it or you can't. Right? Now, there are other companies that want you to think that way. They're like, look, we're always going to find the best price for you. Right? And at the end of the day, can't I open a Word document on an ASIC computer and a Dell computer the same as I can open it up on an Apple? Can't I watch a movie on one and the other? Can't I listen to music on one and the other? Can't I do a search on one and the other? Can I open my social media on one? Yeah. But they don't want you to think about it that way. This is Apple. This is a brand. And all of our products work together. And you always get the newest, latest design and stuff like that. And they're not always that. But psychologically, that's what you think. And they want it to be really cool design. And there's another aspect that we'll talk about probably in the next 2 classes, which is, well, my friends have it. I can't have that. I have to have this. And that's called social pressure. This cuts into consumer behavior, what influences us to buy things, right? Quality, self-esteem, social acceptance, right? All right. So, and then there's place, again, even Uber Eats is place, promotion, trying to see if I, and then the goals, marketing and strategy, the goals are always to grow revenue and grow profit. It's always to grow revenue and grow profit, right? And then the other case is to attract new customers and to sell my new products into my current customers or into my new customers, right? We'll see that. There's basically 4 growth strategies, and all companies use one or multiples, no more than 2. Either sell more of the same product into the same customers. My customers come in and buy coffee 2 days a week. I want them to buy 3 days. And next year, I'm going to give them to buy 4 days. So I'm increasing the amount that I'm selling in my customers. I want to sell a new product into my current customers. When Apple came out with the watch, they bought the laptop, they bought the phone. I'm not going to get them to buy the watch because I know once they do it, they'll continue to buy it again and again. And now they'll, every 2 years or 3 years, they'll buy a new laptop, a new phone, and a new watch, right? And of course, I'm a premium product, so they're going to spend a high price for it. And then the other one is Apple has saturated the US market. First, they saturated the men, and the women weren't buying it. So they changed the name from Apple Computers to Apple. And they hired a woman as the chairman of the company, Andrea Young, who is the CEO of Avon, which not only understands how to sell to women, but they understand how to sell direct to consumer. And that's when they first opened the first Apple store. And that's when they started selling to women. So that's a new market, right? Men are markets, women are markets, age groups are markets, senior citizens are markets, other countries are markets, right? So I can grow selling the same product, more of the same product into the current market, new product into the same market, selling my product into a new market, right? Whether it's defined by age or gender or geography. And then the fourth one is new products into a new market. That's the hardest. Those are the 4 growth areas. Right, where's my, yeah, so all companies, I should say all for-profit companies have 1 or 2 growth strategies, right? And in other words, their goal is to, increase sales, revenue, and or profit, market share. So when you look at your companies, they're going to be doing one of these. And the strategy, which is how you're going to get to those goals, product penetration. That means more product into the same market. Introduce new product in current market. Introduce current product into a new market and or introduce new product into new market. That's very difficult because you don't know the market and the product, you don't know the product. That's the most difficult. But these are the 4 growth strategies, right? These are the 4 growth strategies, right? And sometimes you will see them broken out like this. And you'll see in the top markets, current And you'll see on this side, um, products, and you'll see new and current. And then you basically put them where they belong, right? So new products in the current market, Apple sold their watches to their customers with phones and laptops. And then there's new products into the new market. So this is the hard one over here because I have a new product and a new market. I don't know either one. That's the most difficult. And down here, selling more of my current products in the current market. So if I'm selling to my customers 2 cups of coffee a week, I want them to buy 3 and 4 and 5, or I'm selling my current products into a new market. So when Apple started selling to women, they went into the new market. So one variable, 2 variables. Double variables are always more difficult. All right. And then the choice is either you're going to be the low cost leader, right? Or you're going to be the differentiated product, right? And there's usually one of each in every industry and market, right? So if I were to look at furniture stores, what furniture store comes to mind that's a low cost leader? They're very successful. They sell lots of product.
IKEA.
IKEA, perfect. Right? And then which one would be a differentiated, a premium product?
A premium furniture store?
Raymore and Flanagan.
All right, I don't shop there, but I think I know what you're talking about. All right, so Raymore Flanagan. I think I said it. I hope I said it right. So here's the thing: do they sell to the same customers?
Not really.
Right, and that's important to know because what you're saying is, I'm going to target the customer and I'm going to sell it. Remember, we went from marketing, new product, pushed it through advertising and selling, then decided to understand the customer. And now, of course, we're going into experience and AI. The idea now is, let's figure out what the customer wants. So here are all these customers that want furniture. Well, wait a minute. What do young customers want who are in college, just got married, just started a family? Everything is new. So they don't have a lot. And then what about customers who are established, have a job, middle of the road? And then customers who are older, right? So I can have a market for new customers, customers in the middle of the road, established, got teenage kids, whatever, or just young couples with no kids and they have a strong career going, and not older ones. And then I could have customers who like modern, mid-century, contemporary, conservative, or traditional, whatever. I think Raymore Flanagan is traditional. I could have all those kinds. So I can literally pick, and that's called segmenting the market. So here's the market of consumers who want furniture, and here are these different segments that I can break down based on age, income, what style they like. And in this case, we're breaking it down based on low-cost leadership, right? And we can find lots of industries with this. If I want to buy clothes and I want to be low-cost leader, where do I go? What's the lowest cost place if you want to buy clothes?
Lowest cost place.
I want to get a pair of jeans. I want to pay the lowest price.
Probably like
Burlington?
Walmart.
Where?
I'd say Shein.
What'd you call it? Sheen?
Shein, but it has low quality.
That's fine. Because remember, I'm glad you brought that up. So, like, I was thinking Salvation Army, and if I want expensive, I think it's Bones and Skull and Bones. I think they're like $300-400 a pair of jeans. But Amber, you just said low quality. That's really important. If I were to go to Marriott, right? I wonder if I can find this. If I go to Marriott, let me do this with you. If I go, Mary hotels. We're going if I can get this. I don't know if it'll come up. I know what I want, and I don't know if I'm going to get it. But I think they have Fairfield Inn. Oh, it's not showing. Anyway, I can go from Fairfield Inn up to Marriott, up to Renaissance, or no, it's not showing what I wanted. I was trying to find a list. You know, if I do list of Marriott hotel brands. But my point is this: if I go to a Fairfield Inn, am I going to get the same experience that I'm going to get at like they own Ritz-Carlton, right? You may pay $2,000 a night at Ritz-Carlton, and I may pay $119 a night at Fairfield Inn, and everything in between in here, depending on is it a business person? Is it a single person? Is it a vacation trip? Is it a family trip? And right, and so Marriott realizes that there's all these different kinds of customers that they have to target. And so when Amber said the quality, yeah, I may not get my bed turned back every day in some of these. In Ritz-Carlton, I may get my bed turned back twice a day, right? You're going to get a different quality of service at different levels, and you're going to. But here's the thing: it's what you expect. You don't expect a Ritz-Carlton experience in a hotel that's charging you $100 or $69 a night, whatever the price is, right? So it's not wrong. It just is, right? Like they're marketing to what the customer really wants, right? That's the point I'm trying to make, right? And so when you look at low cost leader and differentiated, what you're looking at is you are differentiating the experience. In this case, by that's not what I wanted. By low cost leader. Come on. And differentiated. And differentiated means you're providing a unique premium service with high quality, and you generally are willing to pay more money for it, right? Right. And now customers are expecting different types. The experience is everything, and how you treat customers is becoming more and more important. And then marketing information systems captures all this data and information, right? So when you go in the point of sale terminal, it knows who you are, where you're from, because when you signed up for your loyalty card, the money they give to you is less expensive than if they had to pay for surveys, right? And so, you shop for so many things, and then they give you a $5 discount or something. But when you filled it out, you used your credit card, you use your address, you use your name, and even if you give them your age, they can find your age. They know exactly who you are. They know where you live. They know how often you come in. They know what you buy. So let's say, Martin, you live in a neighborhood and you're buying milk and cereal. Now, most guys when they're young will watch the game and stick their hands right in the box. I know I did, and watch the game and eat the cereal right out of the box. Right? It's pretty crazy, but that's what we don't have any sense as guys. Eventually, we change, right? And then all of a sudden, we're buying 2 different brands of cereal and a half gallon of milk a year from now. So what just happened to Martin? He was buying a quart of milk and a box of cereal a week, and in a year, now he's buying half a gallon of milk and 2 different brands of cereal. What happened? What happened to Martin? Anybody?
Say it again. I'm sorry.
So Martin lives in a neighborhood. He was buying. Martin, what's your favorite cereal? Do you eat cereal?
Yes. Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
All right. So Martin lives in a neighborhood, buys Cinnamon Toast Crunch, and he buys quarter milk once a week, right? So he's been doing this for a year. A year goes by. It's now the following year, and Martin's buying Cinnamon Crunch Toast and another box of cereal that's a different brand, and he's buying a half a gallon of milk. So what happened to Martin? What happened? What's going on in Martin's life?
He's eating more cereal.
So Martin has a girlfriend, and they are living together, and they now are buying two different brands of cereal, but they need double the milk.
Right.
So we go by a couple more years, and Martin's buying those two things of cereal and even more milk. What's happened? Martin and his girlfriend got married and had a baby. And if you think this is silly, it's not. Because consumers are like water flowing in and out of the river. They tend to be very consistent in their behavior and within a neighborhood. Consumers in a neighborhood in Atlanta do not function the same as consumers in a neighborhood in, say, Honolulu or in New York City or in Seattle. But they all tend to move like a flock of birds very similarly because we are influenced by our environment, not just the sky, but by the people around us. You know, people in the Northeast wear muted colors, people in the South wear very loud, bright colors, etc. Right? We do things very similarly. And so that's why they call them bedroom communities. It's not unusual. And so this information is being picked up. So there's banking information, there's survey direct to consumer information, and then there's information coming right off the register at the point of sale terminal that informs companies what they're doing. And so Sysco, SYSCO, will sell small and medium-sized businesses those point of sale terminals and charge a small fee because these businesses can't afford to set up their own data centers. And what they do is capture all this data, and then they go back to those same stores and say, here's what's selling right now in the area, and help those businesses sell more. And as they sell more, of course, Sysco picks up the fees off of each one of those transactions. So they help one another, right? That's marketing information systems, and that's marketing information, right? So here's one. So external systems from consulting companies and banks, market charts and Morgan Stanley. Who spends the most in the US? So baby boomers, 55 to 75 years old, spend annually $548 billion a year. Gen X, 36 to 54-year-olds, spend $357 billion a year. Millennials, 25 to 35, spend $22 billion a year. And then silent generation, these are people who fought in World War II, spend 162. Now, when this was produced, they didn't have Gen X. As it turns out, Gen X and millennials are now outspending baby boomers. And so if you are a company that sells food or clothes like jeans, and everybody at least owns one pair of jeans, who are you focused on? Well, I'm not focused on silent generation. Plus, silent generation is probably the cheapest, right? They were around the Great Recession. So they're really careful with their money. The baby boomers are actually living their best life. Baby boomers are not, they're not having midlife crisis, but they're not afraid to go skydiving and learning how to play a piano later in life. Gen X actually went through 2 recessions, and so they're very reluctant. The older millennials actually doing better than the younger millennials because of a recession, the 2008 recession. And then Gen Z are going through this craziness now, but they're very pragmatic in terms of their approach, and they're willing to spend. And so a lot of the companies that sell to consumers are focused on the big dollar, and these are US dollars, are focused on millennials and Gen Z because they have so much disposable income to spend, and they're willing to spend it. And so if you look at TV ads on broadcast media, right? Not cable, broadcast media. I'll explain to you why it's a difference. when you look at it, a lot of it is targeting millennials and Gen Z. And if you are a Gen X or baby boomer, etc., you're like, well, where are ads? They don't generally show up as much on broadcast media unless it's something like golf or something like that. Now, if you are broadcast media using a smart TV, right? So Quinn, I live in the 27th floor, you live on the 28th floor, right? And Quinn and I are watching the US Open tennis tournament. And Quinn is using her cable on a smart TV. I'm using my cable on a smart TV. So the match comes on, the game, let's say at 7 p.m. And Quinn's watching in the apartment above me. I'm watching the apartment that I'm watching. But Quinn is a Gen Z, and I'm the next generation older. And the reality is, what's going to happen is, when the advertisement comes on television, Quinn's ad's going to do something like, this space spring's coming up. Hey, it's a good opportunity for you and your girlfriends to take a trip down to Fort Lauderdale and enjoy it. And mine comes up, and it's a Ford F-150 pickup truck EV model. And we're watching the same program on the same day at the same time. What just happened?
Targeting.
So first, we're being targeted. Quinn and her circle of people, and the fact that she's a female, are very different than me and my circle of people, and the fact that my gender is very different. Even though we're watching the same thing, we obviously like the sport of tennis. The other thing is technology. If I have a TV with rabbit ears, I can't target. There is no push-pull opportunity unless they come on the screen and they put that QR code and they tell you, now take your new digital device and put it up against this analog device and buy something, right?
Right.
But with a smart TV, they know who you are. I promise you that whatever you're sending back and forth in email or what you're searching for in your browser, because you have set up your account, whether it's Verizon or whoever, whether it's Sling, whether it's ESPN, whatever it is, you use your email address. And until you clean your cache out, they know who you are, they know who I am. And when you watch ads, like, I want you guys to tell your best friends or people close to you, say, let's plan a trip to Alaska. Let's take a cruise in the dead of winter. Nobody's doing that. You're going to see ads for trips to Alaska in your email, and something about travel on ships, because I don't know that ships travel to Alaska in the winter, but you're going to see something about trips on your television. That's how aggressive they are about this. Now, when AI comes in, they're going to say, and you may also want to take a helicopter trip over the volcano in Hawaii that's erupting with magma coming out of it. And you may want to also go do a steam bath in Iceland, because they see you as the person that likes to travel and do extreme things, and they're processing what people like you think about. So the current one won't do it. They'll just do one-to-one. AI is going to then start thinking outside the box, right? So consumption, and then through your prime years, your highest consumption period is around 45, 54. This is you guys. You're on a trajectory going this way. And then it starts to drop off. Like, you don't need two of everything. You don't need the latest, this, that, and the other. You've got kids. Now you've got grandkids. Now you're like, look, I just want to relax and enjoy my life, play some golf and, get some sun in or whatever. I don't want to die anytime soon, etc. Right? These are the prime shopping years, right? And then how much you spend on what they spend. Shelter, here's the percent of how much, where you spend your money. When you're young, you're not worried about healthcare because you're invincible. Then food at home because you tend to eat out, eat away, education, and other discretionary, like going to Coachella or something like that, right? I got this kind of mixed in here. And then, I just finished talking about how we segment based on what we eat and who we are and how much money, and then the 4 Ps. All right. I got to do the attendance. I'm just slightly over. All right. So I want you to read through this stuff, read through the slides in the book. And I'm going to start tomorrow off. Remind me to start it with a video. So what are we going to mark today's class with? I know. I haven't done this one. Um, I'm gonna do it with the spices of Africa. I was in Zimbabwe and I went to I was in Tanzania and I went to Zimbabwe. So red curry, ginger, and this cloves, lemongrass. I got, and it's shaped like the continent of
Like
Africa.
Africa? Yeah,
Yeah.
cool.
So let me frame the shot. I see Anthony. I don't know where you are. Anthony, are you in a car or a bus or Uber?
Oh, I'm in the car.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So Anthony has a driver. Anthony got it like that. He's on his way to the casino. All
Yeah.
right. I think I got this right. And then Anna has, oh, I could use some of those Trident after all my coughing. Miracle showing us the ceiling. Ginny is showing us, is that a doll? Quinn has a doll. Oh, a panda. I mean, a koala. I've been to Australia.
Oh, it's my jelly cat.
It's a cat? That's a cat?
No, it's
It looks like
it's
a koala bear.
yeah.
It's a cool. That's
Right.
koala, yeah.
Ashley has a fan. Oh no, she has a fan and a bottle of water. Amber is showing us something on the wall. Nicole showing the top of the head. Martin's got water. Martin's normally got his earbuds, but he's got glasses. Anita has, I don't know what Anita has. What is that? Oh, a coffee. Oh, I could use that. And Cammie's got.
I think it's like blurring the
Oh yeah,
lady.
you have Vaseline. All right, here we go. I got the picture frame. Here we go. Ready? 1, 2. Oh, and John has his, as usual, he's got his drink. Ready? 2, 3. There. All right.
I'm a creature of habit.
Hey, nothing wrong with being a creature.
Yeah.
Oh, I had this thing framed. That's why you couldn't see me. Okay, where is my? Oh, all right. So if you have any questions, hang tight. I'll be happy to answer them. I just want to make sure I got the shot. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. I have too many things. I mean, I was closing stuff down too. Come on, come on, come on. Christmas. And I'm renewing my British passport. I got so much to get done.
Oh, you got dual citizenship?
Yeah, it's interesting because England won't let British citizens relinquish because if they go to war, they said they want every Brit in the world to show up. It used
Oh,
to
you
be
were born there.
America used to tell us to make a choice, and now they're like, look, we need to stop being full of ourselves. You can pick whatever you want.
Yeah.
All right. I got that. So if you need to talk to me further, I'm happy to hang tight. I think
All right,
I'm gonna
Professor.
get some more tea.
See you
All right.
Wednesday. Feel better, all right?
Thank you. Oh, thank you.
Drink water, drink juice. You'll be all right.
Yeah, I'm down to my little dribble.
Keep drinking. See you Wednesday.
All right. Take care. Harlan, Quinn, Christopher, Matthew, Christopher. I guess everybody's gone. Christopher, you need me? Going once, going twice, gone.